shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devata atmaikya bodhena vinapi mukti nasidyati brahma shatantarepi. Vadantu, let people recite or quote shastrani, the scriptures. Yajantu, let them perform sacrifices. Devan, to gods. Kurvantu, let them perform karmani, rituals. Bhajantu, let them worship. Devata, deities. Atmaikya bodhena vina, without the experience of one's identity with the self. Api, close to. Vimuktihi, liberation. Nasidyati, is not accomplished. Brahma shatantarepi, even in the lifetime of 100 Brahmās. Let people quote scriptures and sacrifice to the gods. Let them perform rituals and worship the deities. But there is no liberation without realization of one's identity with Ātman, not even in the lifetime of 100 Brahmās.
Namaste. So this verse, and the next one also, point out the futility of karma. What does that mean, karma? Any kind of material work, including following the instructions for religious worship in the Vedas. Now, of course, those things are necessary for a good human life because they give wealth, health, and stability that allows you to develop your intelligence. And the ultimate intelligence is knowing Aham Brahmasmi, I am identical with Brahman. Not just similar, not a part of Brahman. I am Brahman. And this is proved by the axioms and the syllogisms and the theorems derived from the logic of the teaching of Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta is completely, fully logical. We have proved that now. It's not just a religious belief. It's not just a philosophical speculation. It is actually true. And the whole teaching, when encoded in logical language and fed through a proof software, generates 0 errors. So, it's completely logical. And if you understand this logic, you can realize your identification with Brahman. Otherwise, you can go for millions and millions of lifetimes. You can even become a Brahma in some creation of a universe. But you will not get liberation until you realize your identification, your complete identity with Brahman. That is stated in many places in the Upanishads. I don't have to put up all those quotes here. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, you've heard again and again how this is so. So even the spiritual work, karma yoga and bhakti yoga, cannot give actual liberation from existence in the material world. Why? Because they all work through karma. And karma is a principle in the material universe. Beyond karma, there is Brahman. So we have to get beyond karma to realize Brahman. That means that it is outside of the results obtainable by any kind of rituals or mantras or study of the Vedas or worship of the gods. That is all operating in the law of karma. So it's restricted to the material universe. Should be really simple to understand. If you want liberation, the end of suffering, the end of work, the end of all ignorance, then you have to realize your identity with Brahman. You have to go beyond material existence. You have to go beyond material identity and identify instead with Brahman, the whole. So this is the secret. This is the key to liberation. This is what we are teaching in the Only One series, which we recently posted the introductory video for. But you have to watch the video. There's no way I can compress it and summarize it here, except to say that whoever understands the logic of Vedanta, the logic of Advaita, they only can truly understand Brahman. So, why are we uselessly wasting our time with practices that don't lead to liberation? I remember last year, almost about the same time, I went to Batticaloa, Sri Lanka. And there's a very nice, beautiful temple of the goddess there. And so I was invited for their, 25th anniversary celebration. So I went there. And all they're doing is ceremony, ritual. I mean, all karma yoga. So I'm sitting down there with the head man, the administrator of the whole temple, which must be, it's on like 400 acres of prime farmland. And it's really, big money behind this temple. And I say to him, you've got wealth and power and fame and beauty and knowledge through the practice of karma yoga. But karma yoga will not give you liberation. That's stated in the Upanishads. And he says, yeah, I know. And I said, but so why don't you have some program teaching people this Advaita Jnana? Why don't you have some classes or seminars or a retreat, like a meditation retreat? And he said, well, nobody's interested in that. I said, it doesn't matter, Just like we're doing this channel now, going deep into the Advaita philosophy, and the videos are getting less views, like less than half the views than when we were doing Shiva Purana and the Sri Vidya series. Then we were getting like 200, 300 views just in a few days. Now we're getting 50, 60. This is just a fraction of the attention that we would be getting if we stuck with the karma practices. Because people don't have the intelligence. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the ability to discriminate between material and spiritual, between the temporary and the eternal, between the unreal and the real. So they're not so interested. We've been losing a lot of subscribers. I think we lost like 30 or 40 subscribers just in the last month. So why is that? They can't appreciate the non-dual knowledge. I said to him, look, even though that is true, you would only get a handful of people participating. Isn't that the ultimate purpose of this temple? If you really want to offer Vedic knowledge, shouldn't you offer knowledge from the Upanishads as well as the Karma Kanda? I mean, Karma Kanda is good. It helps you attain a nice quality of life in the world, but it don't give you liberation. He said, well, it had this excuse and that excuse and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, you have to do your duty. If you're going to represent the Vedas, you have to represent all of them. Huh? Like if the doctor gives you several medicines, you have to take all of them to get the result. You can't just pick out the ones you like. And it's the same with the Vedas. You can't just pick out the passages and instructions that you like, that give you material advantages, and ignore the spiritual teachings, which are ultimate identity with Brahman. But people do it because, well, they are ethically impure and spiritually impure as well. So they want to emphasize the teachings that give material results and ignore those that lead to enlightenment and liberation. All I have to say is, that's their problem. It's not our problem.
Tat Sat Om Shakti Om